Alright, I just wanted to shoot a video to cover the transmission cooler in addition to the separate video I did on my rig walk around. I feel like this is a very important upgrade and I didn't see any other videos on YouTube. Had to read through the forums to kind of get an idea of what to do, but hopefully this helps somebody out. So this is my Jeep Wrangler. I've only had it about 6 months or so. Planning a trip to Colorado from Louisiana. We drove around the entire state, and we just got there. Getting ready to go horseback riding, driving up this mountain, two-wheel drive, steep dirt road with some switchbacks, and I get a hot oil light come on. I checked all the fluids and everything before we left. Thought it might have been motor oil, hoping it wasn't transmission because that's the last thing I need to go out while I'm in Colorado. So thankfully I made it all the way to the top of the mountain, let it cool off, did some research. Didn't find any videos. I've seen some videos of people actually posting the hot oil light coming on in their Jeep, but not explaining anything. So I read through some forums and it pretty much said have a trans cooler installed. Called some transmission shops. They wanted to charge an arm and a leg. Couldn't really and didn't have the time frame to have it installed. So some other forums said just put it in 4 low, you should be fine. But I was paranoid at this point and I didn't want to take any chances because a lot of the forums were saying that your motor could lock up or transmission oil could end up, bubbling out of the dipstick tube, and that's the last thing I needed. So this thing's got 100,000 miles on it. The last thing I need is for the transmission to go out while I'm in the middle of this vacation with the family. So anyways, I went to O'Reilly's, found this transmission cooler for 40 bucks. Came with the zip ties, came with the hoses, came with the clamps, and I brought a pretty wide variety of tools with me, so it made the job a little easier. However, the one thing that I knew I would need would be a tubing cutter. So those are your transmission lines going into the radiator, and down here, if I can get a good shot of it, you'll see where the transmission lines go up and the hoses connect where I connected them. So pretty much what I did was, and I did this at an Airbnb, and it only took me about an hour, and I highly recommend this. If you have a Jeep and you're not familiar with the hot oil thing, or you plan on doing some off-roading, this is a very simple upgrade. Zip tie it to the radiator. Get it's a little snubby tubing cutter from O'Reilly's. It was probably 10 bucks. That was the most time-consuming part because it took about it took a little while to fit that tubing cutter on the transmission line to cut the line. After that, it was just pretty much hook them up, make sure that nothing leaked. Don't use diagonal snips. You'll crimp your line and then you're screwed. So take your time, do it right. I was planning on doing this just for a band-aid, but honestly, in reality, this is probably going to be a permanent thing. Everything works fine. I made the rest of the trip, had no other issues. Went up and down the mountains. It ran perfectly fine. But once again, I haven't seen any other videos talking about this, but it was a very simple install. Zip tie it to your radiator, cut your transmission lines, cap off the lines coming from the radiator. Is all I did is I bought some little caps, put it on there, and then hose clamped those on there so it wouldn't drip anywhere. And we made the rest of the trip. I'm talking 2,000 plus miles, and I didn't have any other issues and no leaks, and everything's fine. So really recommend and hope this really helps somebody. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments section or send me a message or something. But I hope this helps.